Sahih Al-Bukhari 1021 narrated Anas, Allah's Messenger, I was delivering the khutbah sermon on a Friday when the people stood up, shouted and said, O Allah's Messenger, there is no rain, drought, the trees have dried and the livestock are destroyed. Please pray to Allah for rain. So Allah's Messenger said twice, O Allah, bless us with rain. By Allah, there was no trace of cloud in the sky, and suddenly the sky became overcast with clouds and it started raining. The Prophet came down the pulpit and offered the prayer. When he came back from the prayer to his house, it was raining and it rained continuously till the next Friday. When the Prophet started delivering the Friday khutbah sermon, the people started shouting and said to him, the houses have collapsed and the roads are cut off. So please pray to Allah to withhold the rain. So the Prophet smiled and said, O Allah, round about us and not on us. So the sky became clear over Medina, but it kept on raining over the outskirts of Medina, and not a single drop of rain fell over Median. I looked towards the sky which was as bright and clear as a crown. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1022 narrated Abdullah bin Zayd al-Ansari that he went out with Al-Bar bin Zib, and Zayd bin Arqam and invoked for rain. He, Abdullah bin Zayd, stood up but not on a pulpit, and invoked Allah for rain, and then offered 2 rak'ah prayers with loud recitation without pronouncing Adhan or Iqamah. Abu Ishaq said that Abdullah bin Zayd had seen the Prophet doing the same. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1023 narrated Abad bin Tamim, that his uncle, who was one of the companions of the Prophet, had told him, the Prophet went out with the people to invoke Allah for rain for them. He stood up and invoked Allah for rain, then faced the Qibla and turned his cloak inside out, and it rained. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1024 narrated Abad bin Tamim, from his uncle who said, the Prophet went out to invoke Allah for rain. He faced the Qibla invoking Allah. He turned over his cloak inside out and then offered 2 rakat and recited the Quran aloud in them. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1025 narrated Abad bin Tamim from his uncle, I saw the Prophet on the day when he went out to offer the istisqa prayer. He turned his back towards the people and faced the Qibla and asked Allah for rain. Then he turned his cloak inside out and led us in a 2 rakat prayer and recited the Quran aloud in them. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1026 narrated Abad bin Tamim from his uncle who said, the Prophet invoked Allah for rain and offered a 2 rakat prayer and he put his cloak inside out. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1027 narrated Abad bin Tamim from his uncle who said, the Prophet went out to the Masala to offer the istisqa prayer, faced the Qibla and offered a 2 rakat prayer and turned his cloak inside out. Narrated Abu Bakr, the Prophet put the right side of his cloak on his left side. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1028 narrated Abdullah bin Zayd al-Ansari, the Prophet went out towards the Masala in order to offer the istisqa prayer, and when he intended to invoke Allah or started invoking, he faced the Qibla and turned his cloak inside out. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1029 narrated Anas bin Malik, a Bedouin came to Allah's Messenger on a Friday and said, O Allah's Messenger, the livestock, the offspring, and the people have perished. So, Allah's Messenger raised both his hands invoking Allah for rain, and the people too raised their hands with Allah's Messenger, invoking Allah for rain. We had not left the mosque when it started raining. It rained till the next Friday when the same man came to Allah's Messenger and said, O Allah's Messenger, the travelers are compelled to postpone their journeys because of excessive rain and the roads are overflowed. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1030 the narrator Anas added that the Prophet raised his hands during the invocation to such an extent that the whiteness of his armpits was visible.